Childhood Circles by Dr. Alon Giladi. Struggle and Friendship.
On the main street of the wealthy suburb of Western Herzliya, the mayor lived at the time. He was a mythical mayor or an eternal one. Either way, for me, he was the mayor. In the 11th grade, as every year, at the end of the year, the students went on an annual trip. Usually it was a trip with sleeping bags to some desert area, a walk in places that cars cannot reach, nor are there hiking trails for families, before the roads designated for four-wheel drive vehicles were laid, which belong only to those who have the means to do so, or to those who want to be enslaved by the bank for it. A few days before the trip, the teacher informed us that this year the trip would not take place. It turned out that the municipality had not taken care to ensure the teachers for the trip, and therefore the teachers refused to go ahead with it. Since we lived next door to the mayor, I thought that the most natural thing for a grown boy like me would be to knock on his door and talk to him face to face. What was the meaning of this puzzling cancellation of the only social adventure that school was supposed to provide us with? Why was the municipality denying us this event, which was supposed to be a central memory of our youthful days, which would never return? To my great surprise, the door of the mayor's house opened and I was invited inside. In front of the astonished eyes of this veteran warhorse, I stood, a brazen boy like me, and demanded an explanation. The mayor looked at me, was silent for a moment, and told me politely that there is a suitable time and place for everything. Therefore, the mayor invited me to come to his office in a few days to discuss the issue that he would examine by then. I counted the minutes until the date of our meeting. I wore clean and festive clothes. I studied the issue over and over again, combed my hair, polished my shoes, and rode the bus to the city, but this time to the mayor's office. Two large iron doors opened toward me at the city hall. The mayor was sitting on a large chair. His hair was white. His eyes were looking at me with a piercing gaze. Two serious-looking adults were standing next to him. "Yes, young man," he said to me. "How can I help?" I don't remember the exact conversation, but I certainly explained to him the need, necessity, and obligation that the municipality has to carry out the annual trip. After listening patiently to what I said, the mayor looked at me and politely told me that the municipality could not afford to finance the teacher's insurance, and therefore could not be of any help to me in this matter. This was exactly the wrong answer for me, but it was said politely. The two large iron doors closed behind me this time. From the mayor's office, I walked quickly to the school. I didn't know yet what I was going to do, but his answer wasn't the end of a verse at all, but rather the beginning of a sentence. I arrived at school. I entered class. I sat down at my desk and waited for the bell to ring. Something was forming in my mind. Something came to my head and waited to erupt. Something I couldn't resist. Something that didn't fit my expected and seemingly obedient behavior until then. Something new, exciting, rebellious, this time for the students and against the teachers. A feeling of wanting to change began to burn in me, even against all odds. It was a short break. Time was running out and the bell to enter the sex rang again. But the bell rang and I sprang into action. I went from class to class and called on the students not to enter class and to gather in the yard. I said these things resolutely, loudly, and the students listened to me, and to my surprise they left the classrooms and gathered in the yard. Then I opened my mouth and called on the students not to enter the classrooms. I asked them to start a student strike until our demand for the annual trip was met. The call was answered in the affirmative. The rebellion began. The students did not enter the classrooms. However, the 11th grade rebellion was effectively over before it even began. The teachers soon arrived at the assembly and ordered the students to hurry and enter the classrooms before it got worse, while I, as the initiator of the rebellion, was required to immediately arrive at the vice principal's office to receive my punishment for the dangerous impudence I had taken. I sat near the vice principal's office, waiting patiently to hear what would happen to me. The minutes passed slowly until the school secretary came out to me and informed me that I was not supposed to meet the vice principal, but the school principal himself. I was respectfully ushered into the principal's office. Across from me sat a thin man with red hair. His eyes were shining. At his direction, I sat down opposite him. "Young man," he said to my astonishment, You have demonstrated exemplary citizenship. Well done, but don't do it again." Surprisingly, it was my first rebellion that marked the beginning of an unexpected friendship between me and this liberal authority figure, the school principal. This friendship continued even after graduation until the sudden death of this dear man. Shortly after starting military service, we met for the last time, after a classmate of mine shot himself in the military camp where I also served. I went to the principal and talked to him about the family of that unfortunate soldier, about the death of his mother shortly before from cancer, about the motives that led him to the tragic step he took, about the things that could have been done to prevent it. "Alone," he told me, "you will always seek the truth in things, even against all odds." This was our last meeting. Shortly thereafter, this dear man passed away suddenly. By the way, we didn't go on the 11th grade annual trip in the end.